Welcome back to another episode of Spittin Hoops, weekly NBA podcast with yours truly, Max, and my co-host, Anthony.
What's up, everybody?
We're back after a nice little Thanksgiving break. We're going to be breaking down all things NBA, including the in-season tournament, and the 10 things that we like from this season so far. Kind of stolen from Zach Lowe. Big shout out. Anthony, how's your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was awesome, man. It was great. The only thing that I was missing was some basketball.
Honestly, I felt the same way. Like Thanksgiving, I was like, okay, go Niners. This is cool and all, but like I didn't want to watch a Warriors game, to be fair.
Valid.
I was not looking to watch that, but I was, even some Pistons Hornets could have been nice.
Something.
Yeah.
A little something.
The NBA is like absolutely scared of the NFL. Like they just dodge the NFL on all scheduling things. It is kind of hilarious to me, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's wild, and they got a great product, so why not put it up there?
Yeah, exactly. And also the NBA is a social media league. The social media is still running even when the NFL's on. So like I don't really understand the rationale behind being that scared, but I'm sure they have their reasons. Anyways, speaking of the NBA and things that are going on, in-season tournament going on tonight. Celtics on right now just clinched the first seed out of their group, from what I can tell. There's also Kings, Warriors, T-Wolves, Thunder. You guys will have all those results by the time you watch this, and we won't. So not really going to break that down too much for you. But Anthony, anything there?
Hey, Celtics just clinched. Pretty cool. Love that. Still interesting to see what's going to happen with this in-season tourney, man. What's it going to mean for the history? Which team's going to be the first team to win the in-season tournament? Is that going to mean a lot in 5 years? It's pretty dope.
It already kind of means a lot low key. Like people are taking it serious.
Yeah.
Which I don't know is lit. Like even the stars, like when Dame and LeBron are like, I'm playing for the guy at the end of the bench. It's like, all right, that's kind of cool. I like that it didn't take that much convincing for people to buy in.
Yeah, it was great. I love the point differential too.
Yeah, it gives a reason to like run up the score. I know DeMar DeRozan is pissed somewhere right now. He hates when people does that.
Punching air.
Do you remember when it was Lance Stevenson and DeMar was on the Raptors and Lance scored at the end of PJ and DeMar went over to him. And then Jeff Teague told the story about it 5 years later.
Yeah. Paul George too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, legendary stuff from Lance. Anyways, I guess that's it with the in-season tournament. We're just gonna jump right into it. This is kind of just gonna be a fun little segment where we break down 5 things each that we've liked, have been impressed with, have noticed during this NBA season, specifically related to the players. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, like New York's a bigger market than I thought. Like that's not fun, right? So purely basketball talk. Anthony, you want to start us off?
Yeah, man. So Thanksgiving, wondering what I am thankful for. The first thing I'm going to be thankful for is a man by the name of Alperen Şengün. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. And if I'm not, I'm sorry to say. So a little bit about the Rockets and Şengün, third-year player, had his stats jump from 13, 6, and 4 last year up to, I believe, 19, 9, and 6, 19, 9, and 7. Unbelievable stat leap. And besides that, kind of getting into the numbers, in my mind, he's the best player on the Rockets. I've been on this hype train even since last year. There was nobody on the Rockets that was going to be as good as this kid. He's unbelievable. And the way he's playing is so Jokic-esque. He's averaging 29 and 5.5. A little bit more. So the Rockets, they're playing like an actual team. The last time we talked, they were 6-3. They're 8-6 now. So, 2-3 in that stretch. I don't think either of us thought that they were going to be world beaters, but they're a good team. And the big thing is Şengün. So when he is on the court offensively, they're a top 10 team in the league. When he's off the court, they are far below any of the worst teams in the NBA, by far the 30th. Their net rating when he's on the court is the best in the league. It's 11.2.
That's crazy.
And when when he's off, it's negative 5.7, and that's the 23rd worst. So net rating with him on the court, those minutes, some of the most valuable in the league. So, and it's his ascension. And so a lot of these teams are in the West. I think you had asked, what what are we impressed by? What are we grateful for? And then what does that mean? It means that there are a lot of teams in the West that have to pay attention to a different team that wasn't the Spurs. That's this up and coming team.
A team that we thought was going to roll over completely, to be honest. A lot of people had them in their bottom fives in the West, and right now they're top five, top six in the West. Yeah, and Şengün's been a big part of it. He's also been a lot better defensively. He's not the passer that Jokic is, but no one is. But he's a lot more physical down low in terms like he'll take it up strong. Like Jokic doesn't really get vertical like that, and Şengün doesn't necessarily do that either. But he's a lot more athletic. And so I'm incredibly impressed by him. Definitely the best player on the Rockets. And it's nice to know that the Rockets bought into that because, yeah, if you watch the games last year, he was clearly still the best player. Like Jalen Green was averaging 18 a game, but you'd be hard pressed to find anyone. It was like Jalen Green's better than Şengün, right? Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very impressed that he's arrived though this quickly. Like this is an all-star bid, that he's putting up so far. So
the way he's playing, man.
Yeah, pretty incredible. Love him.
It's very impressive.
Definitely. You have anything to add, or you want me to get to my first one?
No, man. I just it's Şengün mania up in here. Shout out. I was gonna say Turkey, but no. I'll just shout out Şengün specifically. Yeah. I won't shout out Enes Freedom, so I'm not gonna do that.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Shout out Hito Turkoglu, and then shout out Şengün.
Dude, and it's freedom. If it wasn't for the blacklist, he'd be back in the NBA for sure.
Dude, NBA legend Enes Freedom banned from the NBA in cold blood.
Literally could not guard a pick and roll to save his life. Yeah. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, fantasy monster, but yeah.
Shout out. Fourth overall pick, third overall pick to the Jazz back in the day. Kind of crazy.
Dude, yeah. What a career.
Yeah. Legend. I want to get his autograph one day. Probably be pretty easy. I'll move on to my guys. Speaking of European guys, we talked about Şengün, got on a tangent about Mr. Enes Freedom. I'm going to talk about another European guy, this time another youngster, a rookie. This is a guy from France, Bilal Coulibaly. In a season, in a really, really dark season for the Wizards. It's been bleak. We've seen 15 Jordan Poole Shackton moments. Kuzma's having a 25-point per game season, his best season, and no one cares because the team is that bad. And guess what? I'm not even going to invalidate that. It's reasonable. Kuzma's as good as he's been. I don't care either almost. They've got other guys. Johnny Davis, his jump shot still looks terrible. Like some prime Markelle Fultz. It's insane. Denny Avdia, he got paid $10 million a year for the next 4 years, and he said, all right, I'm going to keep being mid. Dan Gafford said, I'll get these rebounds, but that's about it. One guy who's getting 30 minutes a game as a rookie, Bilal Coulibaly, playing amazing defense, in my opinion, for a 19-year-old. Some highlight reel blocks, but on top of that, he's basically averaging both a steal a game and a block a game. He's shooting 42% from three, taking about 3 threes a game, which is a lot of threes. He hasn't really started for the team. He's mostly come off the bench, but he just ends up playing a lot of crunch time minutes anyways. Really efficient from the floor, doesn't take bad shots, shooting 50% from the floor. And his flow is a lot better than I expected. I thought he would be a lot worse coming into an offensive environment in the NBA. And he was terrible, to be honest. Well, first 4 or 5 games, like he didn't really understand his place in the offense, but here he is. And this is an NBA player for at least 12, 13 years. He's a 6'6", A to A+ defender. I love it.
Yeah, man. That defense is just going to translate consistently. And the fact that he already has an okay game in a system that just is not there for him. And you're so right, man. The mid of the mid. It just, even when you're bad, you're mid. And that's impressive.
It's terrible. It's a
It
terrible season, but
is
he's been nice. And Wes Unseld, for all of the criticisms you can have of him, he's not been afraid to just chuck him out there for 30 minutes. And I love to see that from a rebuilding team, frankly. That's
right.
probably what they should have done with Johnny Davis last year, as bad as he was. Just run him out for 20 minutes a game, see what happens, but so be it.
Mm. Who do you see Bilal Koulibaly kind of maybe not even their ceiling, but their play style? Like who do you kind of see him as in the league?
I think I would love to say he's going to develop an offensive game and he'll be long and a really good defender like Kawhi. It's not
Mm.
going to happen. A
Mm-hmm.
realistic projection, frankly, is like OG Anunoby. I think it's
Okay.
very similar. Not an offensive creator at all. Like good defense. On offense, he'll hit the open threes, but he's not pulling up from 40,
Yeah.
like as much as, he is a good shooter. And yeah, just really good defense as a whole. But I think Koulibaly's like, I don't know, his defense, like in the paint, is really good, surprisingly. Like that has translated as a rookie without fouling that much, only 2 fouls a game. LaMelo averages 4, so it's like,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah. Shout out Bilal Koulibaly.
Yeah, big shout out. Also,
Seventh pick in the draft, eighth pick.
seventh pick, they traded up from the eighth to the
Hmm.
seventh to go out and get him. And honestly, people were projecting him to be a late lotto pick. They went out and got their guy. And I
Mm.
like to see rebuilding teams do that. And I'm just rooting for the situation a lot. Also, cool to see the guy that was kind of found because of Wemby. And also the
Mm.
guy who got Wemby to come to that team originally. They're really
Wow.
friends. And that was one of the reasons Wemby left his original team to go to Mets 92 last year, which is where Koulibaly had been playing for 4 or 5 years. And that's how Koulibaly got found. Seventh overall pick, and it's translating. I love the story. I love it.
That's so cool. Wow.
Well, a lot of fun facts. Feel free to hit me with yours.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I hadn't heard the story like that, but that's so cool. Kind of what comes around goes around. Um, Man, that's great. Okay, I love that. I will. You went back to the Eastern Conference. I'm gonna go back to the West. I've been very impressed by now starting to see lists and not being annoyed that Devin Booker's in the top 10 consistently.
Yes, let's go.
So he's been incredible. And this was starting from last playoffs. We don't need to talk about the elimination game, but everybody runs out of gas eventually. But when he was on, he was on. And he's had recent games where he shot, that blistering 70% from the field on all types of different shots, whether it's from the three, whether it's from the mid range. The way that he's able to play just so completely offensively is incredible. Defense, I believe, is improved, not overly, but overall, offensive rating without Devin Booker's average for the Suns with him is best in the league. Um, they're 3-5 without Devin Booker, and they're 6-1 with him. They're on a 7-game winning streak at the moment,
No Beal.
and no Beal, So it's impressive the way that he's playing, and he's putting up 29, 9, and 5 on like 49, 43, 91 splits. Just unbelievable offensive showing and prowess. And he's never really been a guy to kind of hide away from the moment too much. So just very impressed. Clearly the best shooting guard in the league, in my opinion. And Anthony Edwards is great. And Donovan Mitchell is great, but I think he's etched his way a bit above so far.
I fully agree. I love that you brought this up. Actually, this wasn't on my list or my backup. But this has been one of my favorite stories, and I think it started late last season when I think the Suns realized their team wasn't that good. Devin Booker was like, "I got this," and
Mm.
he started putting up like crazy. With KD being out as well at the time. KD came back for the playoffs. They had obviously a good playoff series, didn't work out. But he's been like a point guard. He's been initiating the offense while being incredibly efficient. He's averaging 9 assists a game, something ridiculous like that this year. Um, love it. And yeah, he's probably the best like I think there's a clear top six, top five, top six,
Mhm.
and he might be seventh for me already. He is vaulting in my top 10 player rankings severely. Like I had him there before the season. I'm a big believer in him as a player specifically, but I don't know.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, we got to start. He's in his ninth year, I think.
I'm like that.
Uh,
He was drafted. He was the youngest player in the NBA at the time.
right. He's he's 27. He
Jesus.
just turned 27.
So you're
Um,
year nine.
yeah, he's in year 9. For his career, 24, 4 and 5. That's pretty impressive. He's averaged more than 20 a game since his rookie year, and hasn't gone less than under 25 and since like LeBron was on the Cavs. So it's
I have
impressive.
I have a weird take. I think if he keeps this up and keeps, especially at the rate that he's going down, because this is, in my opinion, his true prime. Like he's hitting it
Mm-hmm.
right now, and it's like depending how long he can take this, he's gonna become like an all-time Suns player,
Mm-hmm.
all-time shooting guard. He's gonna be in the playoffs for 10 more years. It's like it's gonna give me James Harden vibes in terms of all-time player profile.
Mm-hmm.
He has a finals appearance, so it's like I don't know. He's gonna start vaulting some all-time lists in about 2, 3, 4 years. But I just really think it's gonna happen, frankly.
Needs an MVP or
Probably won't get it.
close. Yeah, probably won't get it.
Yeah.
Um, Needs some more All NBAs, I think.
He'll get
He's had
those.
one. He'll get those,
Yeah.
but needs to get there. But I mean, yeah, the projection that you're making, I think, is totally valid.
And I think it'll probably be looked at more favorably historically, especially the way Harden's back end of the career is going. Right now, Booker's just going to be a Suns lifer,
Yeah,
and that's something to be said for that. Yeah.
and already a more like a not effective. That's a crazy thing to not say about James Harden, but doesn't rely on the free throw line quite as much. Like is able to score in different
It's
ways
like
that
a bigger
translate.
bag.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
diversity of shot
more diverse bag.
profiles that he
Yeah,
can make. Yeah.
right, right.
Um, he's also definitely more Harden at one point was really almost like a point guard because he's just controlling the whole game, like more Luca esque in that way.
Mhm.
Booker is really more of a true shooting guard. Right now, he's masquerading as a point guard a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yeah, right, right.
and
I
there's
see.
I like that a lot. Like that reminds me of late 2000s, early 2010s basketball, where it's like shooting guards dominate the league. Joe Johnson, like
Right.
Ray Allen, Kobe, like
Yeah.
Wayne Wade,
Tracy McGrady
T-Mac.
earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
golden era at
Right.
that time.
Yeah. 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 Rip Hamilton. Damn. A lot of good guards. Ben Gordon, shout out.
Shout out. Got in a big argument about him on the pod.
Mm-hmm. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. With that, I'll move on to my next one. So this is kind of like a concept, but it revolves around a player. And it's the Orlando Magic guards. Coming into the season, we did a preseason preview for them. And one of my worries with them is I didn't really see the guard rotation working out. I also didn't think any of them were that good, frankly. I was wrong on both. There's a clear hierarchy of which guards play when. An injury to Markelle Fultz has also helped that situation out in terms of minutes, figuring out minutes distributions. We'll see how that goes when he comes back. But I've been incredibly impressed with Anthony Black as a rookie. He understands the pace of the game. He does make a lot of rookie mistakes, frankly, but he's clearly also an NBA player too. He can play good defense, etc.
Yep.
Cole Anthony, as much as he's wanted to be a starter, I think he kind of has like accepted his role to a certain extent. But the guy who set himself apart as frankly by far the best of the group, in my opinion, is Jalen Suggs. We talked about him previously on the preseason pod. Great defender, couldn't do anything offensively. In past seasons, has been an F defender, an F offensive player, frankly, like just not good. But he's always been a plus defender. This season, 44% from the floor, 37% from three. Still not that good. He's like an average NBA player. but he, because of that, just by being an average offensive player, has made himself, to me, a key piece of this team, and is probably the guard that I want going forward by far out of this Magic group. When before the season we were thinking maybe it was going to be Markelle Fultz, maybe it was Anthony Black as the rookie was going to come in and take over. And I just think, yeah. And one of my hot takes at the time, also in the preseason preview, I'm remembering this now, was I said this is a career defining season for Jalen Suggs. We're either going to find out that he is truly an NBA player or he's truly not. And here he is.
He's doing it.
He's not Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
He is not Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. He is the guy that we saw hit the shot for Gonzaga.
I was a little worried for a sec. I don't know. He was not that bad offensively. Like, don't get me wrong, no one's that bad offensively, but yeah.
That's impressive to be that bad offensively. But
second overall pick. The demonstration is crazy.
Dude, yeah, that's a great take. I like everything about Orlando is just their over under at the beginning of the season was ridiculous. It was 38.5. I'm mad I didn't put money on it. Yeah. Honestly, I think I said that I would have or thought about. Cole Anthony has scored more than 15 points in his last 4 games consecutively. He had 30 points last night. So he's serviceable. If you can get him into a trade piece, if you don't want him or you don't see something with him, go for it. I think the little Gary Harris, like, I'm playable again resurgence has been cool. Maybe his experiences.
It's been awesome, honestly. Like,
yeah,
what, 45% from 3 or something? Like, he's been really good.
Yeah, I like Anthony Black. Good player. Played good defense on like kind of key players recently. And then we'll see what happens when Fultz comes back. And then if it's not that, you have a vet and Joe Ingles who can also pass. And then you have all these guys who are 6'9", 6'10", and taller.
Yeah. From
your small forward to your center positions. They're so deep. It just to go on top of their guard situation. It's such an interesting dichotomy of we have tall and we have short.
Yeah, we have our guards.
Yeah,
and we have our forwards, but that's including the centers, frankly, because they have Wendell and Mo, who are very interchangeable. Wendell has been out so far this year, but
he's maybe Goga.
He's only played 5 games. Yeah, they have Goga, who's been serviceable NBA player.
Yeah,
I didn't think when he got cut by the Pacers, if I remember correctly. So I don't know, very very impressive. Another thing that I'm kind of curious about is like, do you rush? I don't want to rush the timeline too quick, but like Markelle Fultz is expiring next year. You have like Paolo and Franz both on rookie contracts. They're gonna have cap space, and there's a good free agency class next year. They could go shopping.
Yeah, they could. I mean, it kind of is. That's the decision that these kind of teams have to make after a while. The Thunder are on a similar trajectory right now. The Kings might have been on a similar trajectory at this time. The Knicks are on a similar trajectory right now. Do we get that star? For the Magic, who do you want to get that's a star? Do you want to get a guy that's going to bring you to the second round? That can be there as that third fiddle for their playmakers? Or do you shoot for it all the way, and do you get somebody that's going to change the identity of your team? That's going to be tricky to see as this team goes forward, but good places to be.
My theory, my idea, there's a lot of aging guys, some aging wings. Both Kawhi and Paul George can opt out of their deals. Those aging wings. Did I call them something else?
I thought you said Asian wings, and I was like,
no.
Jeremy?
I'm gonna have some of those. I'm gonna have some of those later.
But yeah, so okay, but Kawhi.
Yeah, but like they can both opt out after this year. There's a few other wings on the market. And I just like that would interest me. Just add another 6'8" guy who is pretty good offensively, pretty good defensively, but doesn't have a high usage. It's like you got 40 mil or something in the bank, I think, in cap space next year, potentially. It's like you had a few guys, not only. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. Can you do something with that? That's tough. Orlando's not a free agent destination, but can you do something with that?
Yeah. Do you have to overpay like Houston did to go get Van Fleet? Do you have to do that to get some sort of guy? But like, probably worth it. I don't
Mm.
know. Especially because you don't have to sacrifice assets. After that, you can make trades. So be it. Like,
Yeah.
boom.
The
Um,
weather's nice.
anyways,
Weather's great in Orlando. Why not?
Disney World,
Dude, saying.
Cape Canaveral, they got
Dude,
rocket.
see
They
some
got rocket
rockets
ships.
launch? Damn.
I've been
Okay.
there. Fire.
Really?
Yeah, fire. The only time I've ever been to Florida, my family were like, we have to go there. I was like,
You watched one launch?
no. But like we
Oh,
went to like the launch area and shit.
oh, that's sick.
It was very cool.
Damn.
Fourth grade max was turn.
Oh, I can imagine, bro. Man. No, we were spitting space back then. We were not spitting hoops. Talking about some Jupiter. All right. Well, shout out to the Rockets. We talked about them enough. Sengun is launching himself. Let's get to my guy.
Yeah.
I got another guy. Also another skinny white person in that area of the country. I'm going to talk about Chet. A little Chet time. 18-8, 2.5 blocks, 56, 44, 88 splits. Unbelievable. Net ratings 10.4 versus 6.5 off. So they go from like a top team to a middle team. He's out. Can we say he's out playing Wemby in the style in which he's playing? He has a better team, but it's starting to change a lot of, I think, narratives on how we're going to look at this. And the Wemby hype was real. We didn't see Chet. He got hurt. And now we're in this position of you got a Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin situation where you got your second-year player who's a rookie. And this is just it's incredible to see how good this guy is so early on. And the offensive bag that he has is incredible. And he's so good defensively. And man, is he now the guy, not Shea? I mean, this could be a duo. Who knows? But this could be a duo that could be there for years to come.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. We have an overlap.
Ah,
This is my overlap. I was
okay.
gonna talk about the Thunder, and I was gonna talk about the Thunder as their top three, like
Sure.
Williams, J Dub, Shea, and then Chet. But
It's a
yeah,
good
let's
leader.
talk about Chet. Chet has been amazing. Rebounds the ball better than I expected. Like a little bit more physical. As much as his like frame isn't big, I feel like he can still move in the paint better than I was expecting, which I think has been a big deal. I don't know.
Dude, yeah. No, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And even recently, he's just had great games against your guys. You know what happened. That turnaround three, I'm him. I guess the kids don't, you can't say I'm him anymore. I'm them, okay? Because he's worth more than one person right now, the way he's playing. And then you go up against Joel Embiid and you put up 33 points on 62, 45, and 100 from the free throw line. It's something to behold what this guy's doing.
Totally agree. Yeah, he did it to my team. I watched it. He's nasty. The offensive bag, gross. Defensive bag, gross. Full package. Also, more teams should consider making their first round picks take a year off. I haven't remembered the last time that hasn't worked out, except for like Zaire Smith, who was like the 12th overall pick.
Right? Yeah. MPJ.
Yeah. MPJ, Joel, Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin.
Wow, Joel, that's right. 2 years for that boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Julius Randle, low key.
Julius Randle, low key.
Wow. Huh. You're right. You might be onto something.
Nikola Jokic spent a year overseas.
Yeah.
Lock in. I'm just saying.
Jordan coming. What? Anyways.
Well, then I'll get to my fourth one. Then I'll figure out I have my backup, but this was gonna be my fourth. It is the Denver Nuggets. I appreciate the Denver Nuggets as a whole because you know what, going into the season, I was incredibly harsh on them. I did not pick them to win the chip. I, like a fool, like an idiot, picked the Los Angeles Lakers. I've sold all my stock in that take.
Wow, we're there yet.
maybe I have like a little wallet on the side, crypto wallet, where I put a little bit of money in it just in case. But yeah, outside of that, sold most of my stock. My big worry about them coming into the season was their depth. Jamal Murray's been out. They haven't missed it. Reggie Jackson hasn't missed a beat. He was amazing in their last game, put up pretty much a historic stat line, frankly. But outside of that, Julian Strother has been really good. Christian Brown taking a step up. He's been really good. Peyton Watson, as per usual, love that guy. And they're really humming. The team flows, the bench flows. And I want to take this time to eat my words, basically. The Nuggets are fantastic. And I'm just thoroughly impressed with them as per usual.
Oh, well put.
No, I don't have that much to add. I feel like you kind of agree, but yeah.
I agree. They had a great game against the Clippers last night, where again shorthanded they overcame the. Well, did the Clippers lose or did the Nuggets win? I don't know, but I mean Reggie
Nuggets
Jackson.
got the dub.
What's up? What's up?
Nuggets got the dub.
Nuggets got the dub, and the ghosts of the Los Angeles Clippers past, Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan, both came out on fire. Just unbelievable performance, man. Yeah, the Nuggets are a good team. They figured out their depth. They're used to being a small market team. They just got to find guys that Jokic can continue to play with, and we see what it's like when he's fully healthy, and we see what it's like when he's not healthy. So if he's not healthy, they have a great, very high floor, and they'll win 60. They'll win 2/3 of their games, but the floor changes when Murray and the gang are there. So, yeah, I mean, I like your take as a concept.
Yeah, no.
General, an apology to the Nuggets.
Yeah, an apology to the Nuggets, and also anyone hating on Jamal Murray. We know a few people. Just wait till the playoffs, man. We see it every time. Why are we gonna take the fact that he's scoring 16 a game, like over 7 games, to mean anything when he just put up a playoff performance like that?
Yeah,
come on.
What do we care more about?
Yeah,
November or June?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
you can care about November. Yeah. I guess we're in November, so I kind of care about it right now, but I won't in 2 days. So it's like, come on.
Val.
What's your next one?
Happy no shave. My next one. How many more do you have?
I got one more, but then I got my backup because we both did the Thunder.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna list off big men and centers. Power forward / centers. We can throw Giannis in there for fun if he ever plays there.
Big.
But Mobley, Sabonis, AD, Chet, Jaren Jackson Jr. Some other guys who are either serviceable or solid, depending on the team. Brook Lopez, Valanciunas, DeAndre Ayton, Jared Allen, Vucevic, Miles Turner, Rudy Gobert. And then guys who we know is good. Porzingis, Wemby, Sengun, Kat, Bam, Jokic, Embiid. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the center position is officially back. I think it's back, baby. No longer are the days of Joakim Noah, Roy Hibbert, Brook Lopez being one of the best centers in the league, and Andrew Bynum, a hobbled Dwight Howard, and Al Jefferson.
I was about to say Al Jefferson. I was like, a Hornets Al Jefferson.
Dude, a Hornets Al Jefferson, a Zebo, he's doing his thing, a Marc Gasol. Look, great players, good players. They wouldn't be this high on this list of guys. And none of these guys are in that top echelon. They're just not. And it's unbelievable. There's young, and all these guys are at their oldest 31, 32. So it's only going to get better. And the center position is back.
And all these guys are really good defensively. None of these guys are pushovers defensively, unless you want to argue Jokic and like Sabonis. But it's like, these are all bigs that throw their weight. When they're matching up, like they all take it personal, and it makes the NBA really fun to watch. Like a lot of those interpersonal matchups. Like I want to see Mobley try to play against Mitch Robinson again after last year's playoffs. Like I want to see if Porzingis can play a solo center position against a team that's got two bigs like the Jazz. It's like things like that are really interesting to me. And I don't know, the center position is a big part of it. I
It's
love that.
huge.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, it's decided so many recent championships going back. Like you have, besides the Warriors, honestly, it's big men that are kind of taking teams over the top right now. So it's cool to see, man.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally agree. I'm kind of jealous. Kind of wish I came up with that. Moving on to my next one. Uh, this hurts a little bit. I don't like giving this franchise too much clout because they already got a lot. They have the most clout in the league. It's the New York Knicks. And I want to give a shout out specifically, not to the whole team, to be honest, but specifically, I want to give a big shout out to Jalen Brunson.
Mm.
Jalen Brunson this season, 25 points per game, shooting 47% from three, 45% from the floor. His assists have gone down by one, but he is incredibly efficient. He's kind of shooting like just way better than last year, not taking that many more shots. And he's leading this team to sixth in the East, which is around what we'd expect. But this is with a pretty bad Julius Randle season, in my opinion. He's only averaging 19 a game. RJ Barrett's been good. He hasn't taken the massive leap, also averaging 19 a game. And the only other person averaging double figures on the team is Emmanuel Quickly. Sorry. So I just want to give a shout out to Jalen Brunson. I think he's been really good. Again, as we said last year, I think both of us said this. Best player on the Knicks, showing it once again. Top 17, 18 NBA player, probably, in my eyes.
Yeah. And that maybe we would get lost in the weeds there, but
yeah, maybe like top 20.
Okay, fair
top
enough.
20, yeah, top 20.
Yeah, there's just a lot of great point guards. You're making me realize because there's a lot of guys just around there. Sheesh, but he's good, man. Yeah, and then closer to like 35, 6 and a steal and a half per game in his last 7. I have on one of my fantasy teams, and I love him. Just an unbelievable player. They still need a star. However, man, he's just New York got a hell of a deal from the Mavs, man. And he beat Donovan Mitchell in the West, and then he said, "Okay, why don't you come over here?" And then he beat Donovan Mitchell in the East again. So he's fun to watch. He's always scary when he plays the Celtics, especially.
Yeah, I mean, he could be the second best player on a championship team pretty easily, in my opinion. Like, it makes sense. And he could have done it in Dallas. And, he dipped on Dallas. And frankly,
Dallas dipped on him.
Yeah, but Dallas was wanting to offer him. Like, Dallas didn't give him the money he wanted originally. But then Dallas came back around and was like, here's the max. And he was like, nah, peace out. I'm going to New York. Great personal decision because he's got 2 years left on his contract after this year. And I think he'll probably be on the Knicks for a long time. And he's really good. He's the point guard the Knicks have needed. It's really on brand. New York point guards kind of lit. So I don't know. Love the situation.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good shout out. I love Jalen Brunson. He's great.
Yeah,
whole Villanova squad.
Yeah,
he's having fun.
He's pretty good. He's no he's no Jet Howard, but no.
Shout out Magic.
Shout out. Yeah.
Shout out Magic. Cool. That's a good one. All right. I will give mine. My last what am I impressed by is a man that we've all come to know in the NBA. He's on the upswing and he's kind of mid-early in his career. His last 6 seasons, 27, 8-8. I'm talking about LeBron James.
I knew you were evading. I was like,
a guy who is, probably halfway through his career at this point and has just not looked like he's slowed down. This season, averaging 25, 7.5 boards, 6.5 assists, shooting 56, 39, 69. Nice, but also not great for the point of the argument here.
Yeah.
His offensive rating and defensive ratings are so important to keep in track of, especially considering the fact that this guy is a month away from being 39 years old. December 30th. A good NBA fan should know LeBron James' birthday. It's just you should be a good person. Um, Offensive rating when he's on the court about 115 versus 99 when he's off. So top 8 versus by far the worst in the league. Defensive rating top 6 when he's on the court, 13th when he's off the court. So not a huge difference, but shows something. Net rating top 6 in the league, by far the worst in the league. Not by far, near the Blazers, but the worst in the league when he's not there. So, I mean, what is he supposed to do? That's the one reason I don't honestly hate your Lakers take is because LeBron is playing better than I thought he was going to be playing this year. And if the rest of the team can figure it out, I know they've been dealing with some injury history. We'll see what happens when Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent come back, even though Gabe Vincent wasn't amazing to start the year. We'll see if it can turn into something. We'll see if D'Lo can be a trade chip. But, I mean, it's just his greatness, his consistent, continued greatness, which I don't think anybody was that surprised to see was going to happen.
Always got to be thankful for it, though, because this is generational stuff, permanently extending his lead as top scorer ever. I mean, someone's going to have to be insane to beat that at this point, just based off games played. I don't know. A guy who's defined, like, the moment I started watching basketball, he was in the league, and I'm here 20 years, 15 years later, he's still there and doing his thing, and it's incredible. And he's honestly carrying, like, he's hard carrying this team, and him and AD. Darvin Ham, Austin Reeves, etc. None of them are doing him any favors. So incredible to watch. Like, I like this, and always good to take any time to, like, give a shout out, because we don't know how much time we have left with LeBron James. And
yeah, it's true. It's true. And if he can win a ring, I mean, I won't like it, but he'll be that much closer to me being able to claim him as the true GOAT. And I want our guy to be the GOAT, man, so badly. I so badly do. If he can get there, that would be special. And he's making great arguments for it as he plays. Golly.
Well, so we always talk about this. This is tangent. How long do you think he's going to play? Like,
I mean,
2 more seasons after this one?
Why not?
Yeah. It's like a Brady thing, though. It's like at some point he's going to fall off a cliff, and you want to get out before you fall off a cliff. As good as you are.
Yeah. And Brady was bad. Don't get me wrong. Brady was very bad.
Only in the last season, though. He was fine before that.
Yeah. And he wasn't even terrible. Like, he fell off a cliff that was from greatness to
he wasn't a bottom 10 quarterback in the league or something.
Yeah. Right. So that day might happen. Hopefully LeBron figures out the end of the playoffs and he just is like, oof, I can't do it anymore. But why not? Why couldn't he keep playing like this?
Yeah, maybe. But the body's gonna break down at some point. You can't play 100 games of basketball a year for 25 years and be fine. Like, it's at some point it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But he's not retiring this year or something. As much as he floated that out last year, he's not retiring this year. Like, you can't be this good and then retire after the season.
He's got a son on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Two of them, and they're both nice. So
yeah,
lock in. I'll give my bonus one just really quickly. Since we both hit the Thunder. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Jazz because they're not that good. But they got some fun stuff going on. And guess what? A year later, I thought they had totally overperformed last year. And they probably kind of did to start the season. But over the course of the season, I mean, this has been a fun team to watch this year. And as much as they haven't been amazing, there's a lot of bright spots between guys like Keontae George, Walker Kessler being good over the last 4 or 5 games, again, kind of coming back into form that we saw last season. John Collins is scoring 15 a game. Like, people forgot that he's not a terrible NBA player or something. And I just really like what's going on. I just want to give a special shout out to Keontae George because I'm a big stats guy. Really like my stats. I like my shooting percentages, my 3-point percentages, etc. But this has been one of my favorite rookies as well. He's shooting 35% from the field and 33% from 3. But he's scoring 10 points a game and he's averaging 5 assists. Pretty good defensively as well. He's 6'4". He's got size, and as much as like the stats don't pass the eye test, he's passed the eye test when I've watched him. And it's kind of been the epitome of how fun I find the Jazz to be. Like they're not actually that good, but all these guys are really fun, and it's a good situation.
Yeah, no, totally. They're going to win a third of their games. They're going to be a tough out. They're up in Utah having fun. Don't really know what their direction is right now, question mark, because they have a batch of people of all sorts of different ages under the age of 30.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a cool team, and I think it's indicative of the fact that this is a team that 5-10 years ago would just be absolutely unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would just be a team we do not care about. And they're out here beating the Pelicans in back-to-back games. So they're fun to watch, man.
And they're mixing up the starting lineup, which I've really liked as well. They've started like 10 different players this year, and they haven't really been like that injured. Like Walker Kessler missed some time, and like Markkanen missed like 2 games, but like they started Ojai Baji for a few games. They started Yurtseven for a few games. They started Olynyk. They've started Kessler. They started Taylor Horton Tucker. They've started Keontae George. Only guy, funnily enough, that they haven't started who's relevant at all is Colin Sexton. So that's kind of trolly, but I love it. I think as much as the direction isn't exactly clear, they have a clear guy that you're building around. We don't know how amazing he is yet. He might not be a top 10 player, but he's pretty good. Lauri Markkanen. Yeah. They got a lot of auxiliary pieces and a ton of draft picks, and like you can trade up in the draft. Like this is the thing. Like I feel like they could do things like that, like and have some fun because they just have so many players who are good.
They do.
So, anyways,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they have a lot of trading chips to work with, and
yeah,
can you get those guys that can come in early on and help with Lauri?
Literally, Danny Age's dream. This is what he wanted the whole time was to.
He's having fun.
This, and this got to be fun.
Yeah, man's just sitting back, shades up, enjoying himself.
Yes, sir.
And he'll leave 2 years before the Jazz are ready to win a title. They go off and help another team.
They'll promote the coach to the GM again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shout out.
But yeah, that's all I got for today. I don't know.
It's a good amount. Yeah,
large amounts.
We love large amounts of NBA basketball here.
We do enjoy basketball.
We do. It's what we spit about.
Sometimes.
And well, with that, I guess we'll take it home.
Yes, sir.
Max, you got anything to close us out with?
No, sir. No, I don't. Shout out Bilal Coulibaly.
Shout out Bilal Coulibaly, the second hardest name to pronounce in that year's draft.
Behind his former teammate.
Behind his former and maybe future, stay tuned, teammate. But until then, folks.
No.
Hey yo. Man, we love the magic here. But until then, we'll be chilling, coming back to you anytime between 4 and 10 days, depending how our schedules work. Spittin Hoops as always.
Peace out. That was the realest outro you could have given.